I was born in a place called Elmwood in southwest Philly, which is not too far from the airport.
Elmwood Ave?
Elmwood Avenue.
Okay.
And the name of the street I lived on was Stemcombe Avenue, which was not that far from Island Road. And my grandmother raised me, and we moved to West Philly, and Southwest Philly, near Greenway, and that's where I went to school and grew up. And then I moved to West Philly when I got old enough. When I left home, I wasn't married. Then I met my husband, and we've been married 49 years, so we'll be 50.
Oh, wow.
And next year. And we moved up here to West Oak Lane, Germantown area.
Oh, okay. And did you go to school in Philly? I mean, like college? Did you get your...
Temple University.
Temple, okay. Yeah. And you got your master's or your
My
degree in
bachelor's.
social
My bachelor's in social work.
Okay. All right. So you're a real Philly girl.
Real Philly girl. Well, when I was a baby, I was sickly, so my grandmother took me down to my great-grandmother, who said, we're going to straighten this kid's legs and everything out. And that's what they did. And then when I got school age, we moved up here.
Mm. What were the major issues in the community and the nation when you first attended USG?
Vietnam War. What else? Oh, gosh. How can I forget? Fighting for our rights with Martin Luther King. I'm very proud of the one statement that none of the churches here in Philadelphia will give Martin a pulpit, and we as Germantown here let him come and preach in our pulpit.
Yeah. Did you hear him speak?
No, I had heard about it, but I didn't hear him speak. And here, Academy of Music, that's where I heard him speak. That's where I went down and saw him and met him. Not met him, saw him and he spoke and, with the crowd. But I didn't come here to see him. But I heard about it.
Yeah. What was the excuse me, what was the racial climate at USG when you arrived?
It was really good. It was a lot of color here. And eventually the people started leaving because the one I remember is there was a problem with at GA where some money was promised to someone or one of the churches or something, and it never happened. It was voted down, and that's when I saw a lot of exiting of African Americans from this church. But we did have, I know, African American presidents of this church. The kids, George was one of the president of the board. And I can't think of the lady, it wasn't a woman's name that was...
George and Mary Kidd? Was Mary ever?
No, George was.
George was.
But there was a female black president one year too, and I can't think of her name right now. She's no longer a member of the church. She left, and I think she went to I don't know if it was All Souls or Center City Church.
Huh.
What attracted you to come to this church? And you're the first person that I recall who said that there were a lot of African Americans at USG when you came here
Mm-hmm.
and then they left. What do you think drew those people here?
I guess, well, the ministers, and I'm trying to think. I know that Bill had was it? I think there was more African Americans here when Bill came, and I think he drew them. But I don't. My husband would know more about
Okay.
that than I would, because he was. I would come, but I wasn't as involved as he was.
Okay. Who were the major players in the church when you started?
Gosh. I'm trying to think now. My God. A lot of them are gone. I had to come back to that one because
Okay.
I should have brought my notes and I didn't.
Okay. I was going to ask you what was your role, but you've said early on you actually didn't come as much.
Not until Bill, till I joined.
Okay, so tell me about that period.
Well, when I joined, I joined because hearing Bill really, got me worked up, and the things that he was saying that he was going to do with in a church made me feel that I could grow here.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that was very important to me, it still is, children, and especially teenagers. And at that time, when I first came, they did have an active YRUU, and then all of a sudden, the YRUU dissipated, or I don't know what happened, but Hal and I felt as though we should have more teenagers and young people involved with our church, and we decided to start a YRUU for all the churches in the area. That was Restoration, and especially Center City. And we wanted all of them to come together in one YRUU classes. And what we would do, go from church, each one of the churches. But it wound up that everybody wanted to come here. And that was my major dealing with our church, was dealing with our YRUU.
Yeah.
And I worked for years with that,
Yeah.
with the group.
I wonder if anybody's thought of it since. Sounds like a good idea. What has changed over the years?
Well, a lot of new people have come. And a lot of deaths. And the YRUU is not as active as it was when Hal and I were dealing with it. And I don't know if when Hal and I dealt with the YRUU, we met in the evening. And that's when the youth really liked that. And because it was no one was here but us, and we could talk, and most of the time their homework was done, and they could get here. I feel as though our RE was better because we had the other buildings and not so much in our church. I think we have one class over in the youth building, but at one time we had the house in the back of our church and the house on the side of our church, and one time or the other they were in use. One time daycare was over there at the side, the one on the side on Germantown Avenue, and I think now it's in the back at the youth center. But I for some reason I don't think that our church does enough to incorporate our children.
How have you evolved over the years?
Well, we used to give a luncheon every first Sunday. It started off with the men's group, and I thought it was a wonderful idea. And when they decided that they didn't want to do it anymore, I took it over. And for the youth group, and the youth group would, you used to help me get the lunches together. And then my husband decided he wanted to be involved, and we did that for years, as you know. And once we started getting older, and my husband's hand got arthritis, and he couldn't really do it anymore. That's when I guess we stopped being as much involved with our church.
Looking forward, what changes would you propose or recommend? You've talked about some of them.
Well, like I said, involving our children with more programming in our church. I don't know, some way trying to opening it up to our the neighborhood. We live in a wonderful neighborhood that has a diverse people that of color and of different nationalities. And I don't know if we open up our church to our neighborhood enough. Do different things, bring more programs in that people would be interested in. And maybe advertise those programs.
Looking forward, whoops, that's one I just asked you. Or did I? Lost.
Yeah.
I did. All right. Thinking of the UU's 7 principles, what has your involvement meant to you?
It's meant a lot to me. I could teach it. Talk about it. I can show it. I can demonstrate it. I can help them to understand. And I could be, one of the things that we need is listen to their point of view. Because we're not always right. And they're not always wrong. We don't have to win when it comes down to teenagers all the time. Or come down to children. Sometimes let them win.
changes you see needing to happen in the future at USG, including the role of the Ending Racism Committee?
Mm. Like I said, open up programming, and welcoming all nationalities, or having maybe a commercial ad asking maybe an African American to speak, and I think we have Hispanics in our church. I think having someone in that race, or having our minister do an advertisement of some kind, talking about our church.
Hmm.
I think they could do that very well. We need someone that can do sign language to invite the deaf, and even I having more programming for seniors. We used to have, my husband did a luncheon once a month for anyone that wanted to come, which was really a success.
Here at USG.
Uh-huh.
What was the luncheon? Can you say more about the luncheon?
Yes, it was just a way to get people to come in and to be together and to meet other people that was here. Like it was like a welcoming to even to the neighborhood. They could have came in.
Was it a programmed lunch?
No, it was just a once month lunch that should have been advertised more.
Hmm.
And that wasn't, I don't know if it was in the programming.
The communicator?
Yeah, the communicator. But that was good.
Hmm.
That was for a few years, I don't know how many years. I was really working then. My husband was retired at that time, so.
Who made the lunch?
Mm-hmm.
Who made the lunch?
He did.
You did.
He did. And I helped when I could.
How have you evolved by being a member of USG and ERC?
I was one of the reasons I finished college. I was very happy to do that. And I've watched our children grow up, which makes me feel very good. Most of the children that I dealt with NYU are now parents and have children of their own. And in fact, all the YUs that I dealt with have grown up and went off to college, got married, and some are ministers. And I'm very proud of them.
Did any of the seven principles stand out for you, that they helped you to see things differently?
I'm trying to think of the seven principles.
Well, yes.
Being a welcoming, open person. Trying to be as kind as I could. And helping as much as I could with problems that we have as human beings in the world. protesting when I could against, especially this Vietnam War, and the race struggle for all.
Jeff, do you have any questions you wanted to add in?
No, nothing really comes to mind. Did you really talk about what drew you to this church as opposed to, I mean, what was your family's religious background?
Baptist.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to find something that really meant something to me. I was sick of being told I was going to hell. What did I do to go to hell? You know? And my thoughts were not as Christian as they should be. What I should wear to church. How I should act in church. You know, if I wore pants, it's fine in this church. As long as you're, I wanted to be accepted for who I was. And now who I am.
I guess there was some remarks by others about racial tension in the congregation. Did you perceive any of that?
Yeah, when I first came into this church, after my husband John came, I asked him, why did he want to come to this church and be a part of this church? Because I got a feeling that it was a very stuck up.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a very clean a church that didn't feel as welcoming as I felt it should. Then Harry and Gertrude changed my mind completely. I loved Harry and Gertrude. And that's what really put the nail in the coffin, coming to this church. And then Peter and Marty, I met them. And, oh my God. I'm trying to think. I can't even think of a lot of people that was here.
Eula Saunders?
Eula. And what is her name?
About the Evenbucks.
The Evenbucks? Oh God, yeah. And I can't, she's a black woman, teacher. She was very, very involved.
Betty Hankins?
Betty Hankins. Betty was my heart. I loved her. And I still do love her. She's still around.
She comes sometimes.
This, oh my God, I gotta forget her. She's dead and gone now. A black woman, heavy set. And she was involved with
Anna
Lyra. Oh God, I cannot forget Anna Lyra. And trying to think. I am forgetting a lot of the other, getting older and forgetting a lot of the other people.
Well, there's a lot of that generation that disappeared too. It's hard to
Yes,
remember them if you don't,
yes.
you don't experience them as often.
The West. course, I remember the West because of
Bob,
Bob. He was a professor at Temple.
right.
Who else? Of course, Bill Gardner and his family. I knew them. In fact, his daughters were very active in the YUU. And when they left, that's when it seemed to really go down.
Huh.
And then Harold and I decided to bring it back up.
Thank you
You're welcome.
very much. Appreciate your thinking about all this and helping us think back over the
And
time that we've been here.
yeah, and then you.
Well, I haven't been here as long as you have, but Jeff
Yeah, but-
probably has.
Yes, Jeff. Jeff came after me, didn't you?
Well, I grew up in this church actually, but
Go-
I didn't come back as an active member until around 1980.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
You know, I was in the liberal religious youth in the 60s.
Oh, okay.
61 through 64.
Uh-huh. Yeah. My son grew up in this church. He's an original Unitarian.
Is he still a Unitarian?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
is he
yeah.
still in this area?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, he comes to church. Not as often as I'd like him to, but he does. Yes. Maybe when he gets older. Maybe when he gets married.
that could be.
That's what does it.
Well,
I really want to be with my husband, huh?
what do you think it would take to interest him to come back?
More color,
Color.
more youth, young people. Well, now he's, like I said, he's getting old. He's 42. So,
He's older than a lot of the younger people who are coming in here now.
yeah, he is. And that's good. That makes me feel really good that we are growing again. Because we had started to lose it. It seems that at times we were not as strong, with members as we are right now. So.
Yeah, if he's 42, I'm trying to remember if I know him.
You know it,
Because he's at the stage where...
Dallas.
Yeah, if he hasn't been here for a while, he may be surprised by the people who are here now.
Right.
Than he, like 5 years ago even.
I'll let him know. Never thought of telling him. I'm not, well, my illness has kept me away from the church a lot. But I'm trying to get back. And because, like you said, the church is growing. And I want to get to know the youth. I can't do as much with the youth as I used to because one of the programs that we had was at the beginning of the time when we started with the new people that would come to our meetings. We always had a camp, go camping, so they would get to know each other. And times we slept in the church to get them socialized, and to the point where we wanted them to do things in the church, like help with ushering or whatever, and teach them how each Sunday someone had the responsibility of leading the meeting on some subject that they were really interested in. One did one on drugs, one did it on acting and being in the theater, being
This
a
was the
vegetarian.
YRU.
Being a vegetarian. And we had a youth conference here, which they led, which was wonderful. In fact, I think we had like 3. And we always had a camp out at the end of the year and talked about how the year went. That was really nice.
Yeah.
We went different places, like the Water Gap, Jersey, Maryland. Yeah.
That's good. All right, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Joining us and sharing with us.
Mm-hmm.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I thank you for asking me. And I'm sorry I didn't bring my notes.
Did Dallas get a chance to look at the questions?
I certainly did. I was at the room with the torches in my hand. You have to look at these questions.
Good.
So he said he would be here. So,
Good. All right.
okay, it's almost 2.
Thanks
Mhm.
for that.